Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Hester Biosciences Limited third quarter FY23 earnings conference call hosted by ICICI Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phones. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rohan John from ICICI Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Darwin. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hester Biosciences Limited Quarter 3 and 9 months FY23 earnings conference call. So today we have the senior management with us, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, CEO and Managing Director, Ms. Priya Gandhi, Executive Director, and Mr. Nikhil Jawar, CFO on this call. I thank the management for giving ICICI Securities the opportunity to host this call. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. As always, it's indeed a pleasure to address this conference and talk about the quarterly results. I would like to highlight on the results are already there, the financials, everything is already with you in your hand. I would like to address subjective issues rather than talk precisely on financial figures. As you are aware, in Hester Biosciences, we have now 3 divisions. That's the Animal Healthcare Division, Poultry Healthcare Division, and the Pet Care Division. The Pet Care Division is the youngest of it all. It's just been a few months that we have started the division, and for accounting purposes, we have merged the business of the Pet Care Division with the Animal Healthcare Division. This quarter has been a little different quarter than it has been all along. From the time we started till today, poultry vaccines was our flagship in terms of turnover, top line, etc. And then we added the poultry health products, and then we started the Animal Healthcare Division, which also has vaccines and healthcare. And it had been our endeavor all along that we would want to grow the company in such a manner that no division, no product, no territory becomes so relevant that any major upheaval in that could actually make a very big difference in the functioning of the company. After so many years today, we have the Animal Healthcare Division reach more or less up to the Poultry Healthcare Division, contributing to a little less than 50% in the total sales, while historically the Animal Healthcare Division at its highest has never been more than 25 or 28%. Coming to the actual business, the Animal Healthcare Division has done very well in this Q3. As you all are aware, we had the lumpy skin disease problem all across the country, and our company had the goat pox vaccine, which actually performed, and it is similar to the lumpy skin disease virus, the goat pox. So it can protect the lumpy skin, protect the cattle from the lumpy skin disease. And we have supplied around 95% of the country's requirement for the goat pox vaccine to immunize cattle. This has been a very big boost for us in the Q3. We have supplied the goat pox vaccine in each and every state in the country. There is not a single state left where we have not supplied. And in 90% of the states, we have made 100% of the supplies for the goat pox vaccine. Also, the Animal Healthcare Division grew again further because of the additional sales that we had on the health products. The health products sale has been boosted exceptionally well because in the last around 6 to 9 months, we have added a lot of people in the sales team, and we have also added more products. In fact, the health product business overall has grown by 30%. So these two have been the driving forces for the animal healthcare division to grow. And on a quarter basis, on a standalone quarter basis, it has grown by 202%, and on a 9-monthly basis, it has grown by 127%. Coming to the poultry healthcare division, the poultry healthcare division has seen a degrowth of 22% on a quarter-to-quarter basis and 20% on a 9-monthly basis. The poultry industry continues to remain under a recessionary condition where the input costs are still going higher than what the revenues they achieve by selling the meat and the eggs. So this has been a continued trend. We thought it was changing. It has improved a little bit. Hopefully in this Q4 or by Q1, we would see drastic changes in the poultry industry, and this would lead again to revival of the poultry industry. These features happen in a cyclical manner. This cycle has gone on a little bit longer this time, but we have reasons to believe that this cycle would now take a turn and it would be an upward, and in days to come, our sales and our business of the poultry healthcare division would also seemingly go up as far as the division and the business is concerned. Looking into the EBITDA, our EBITDA grew by 13% due to the growth in sales. Our Q3 gross margins have shown a little bit of a negative. It has been a degrowth of around 3%. In reality, there are two components that have actually impacted the gross margins. One is that the margins on the health products in the poultry healthcare division as well as the animal healthcare division have improved drastically, and therefore our margins did go up on the health product sales. But on the negative side, we had to write off expired poultry vaccine stock worth 1.6 crores, which again pulled down the gross margins. This pulled down because of the write-off of the expired stocks. We had to take a hit on that because of the poultry industry not really doing as what it should have been doing. In fact, we produced vaccines against a disease which we thought was going to flare up. Fortunately, in a way for the poultry industry, the disease did not flare up, and unfortunately for us, we had stocks of the particular vaccine plus the recessionary condition in the poultry industry. But the two together have pulled down our Q3 gross margins by 3%. Taking business further from here, I would like to talk on the vaccine side of the business. PPR has been a disease which the world has taken up for eradication. Government of India has embarked onto a massive immunization program. Actually, any eradication program has to first have a very strong immunization program. With good immunization, the disease incidences go down, and then ultimately the disease gets eradicated. Government of India has embarked on a national immunization program in sheep and goat against PPR. Hester has won the tender, as you are already aware, as this was already mentioned in the last quarter. We have been awarded the contract to supply PPR vaccine all across the country. There was a delay in the beginning. There was a delay in the commencement of the supplies of PPR because the government. It was solely due to governmental reasons, nothing to do with us. We were prepared to supply the PPR vaccine. Nonetheless, the supply of vaccines has started from January 2023. And we hope that this supply would also be a very big boost to our company. And if the tender goes as per the schedule, by March 2024, we should have supplied PPR vaccines to a value of little over 40 crores. So this would be an all-time high sales of PPR, and this is an unprecedented sale that we are hoping to have for the PPR vaccine. Talking about the lumpy skin disease in cattle, lumpy skin disease vaccine needs to be given once a year, in fact once in 10 months, and because of the disease situation, most of the cattle in the country were immunized with the goat pox vaccine. We are in talks with the government, and in fact government is also looking into the prospects to make this into a yearly vaccine under their immunization program. So that's another avenue which would make the goat pox vaccine continue its business the way we had in the earlier quarters in this financial year. And besides that, we would be also pushing the goat pox vaccine through our trade, which we also see that there should be a boost in the sale of the goat pox vaccine. Incidentally, lumpy skin disease vaccine has been developed by Indian Veterinary Research Institute, and we are in the process of acquiring the technology for the lumpy skin disease vaccine. So till the time the vaccine is not developed, we anyway have the goat pox vaccine to immunize against LSD, and once the LSD vaccine is ready, we would be supplying the LSD vaccine itself. Incidentally, we produce the LSD, lumpy skin disease vaccine, in Hester, Africa, and that seems to be one of our biggest sales perspective in these coming months, from Hester, Africa to all the African countries. Another vaccine technology which we have acquired from IVRI is the avian influenza for the poultry. Avian influenza has caused havoc in the poultry industry for more than 12 to 15 years, and Government of India has now taken a decision to allow the manufacture and the administration of the low-path avian influenza, that is H9N2. We have already acquired the technology and we are in the process of commercializing this technology. So these are the two additional vaccines for which we have bought the technology and we are working on it. Besides, of course, the vaccines we are already working is the improved version of the Brucella vaccine, and we are also trying to develop PPR and sheeppox combined vaccine, so that in one PPR goat pox combined vaccine, not sheeppox, goat pox vaccine. The combined vaccine could be used for sheep and goat, and in one shot you could give both the vaccine. So that is also a vaccine which we are currently working on. On the health product side, it's been a good business so far, and we are here to increase the range as far as the health products is concerned. We have already increased the field force with a specific objective to increase the sales with health product. If you look at any company worldwide, it is always that their health product business is larger than any of the segment, and we are here to now aggressively grow the health product business, which, as I just mentioned to you, grew by 30% on a quarter-to-quarter basis. Our production capacity, we had two expansion plans. One was the fill finish, which was supposed to have got completed in Q3, but there has been a little delay of the main equipment, and we hope to commence that facility. For sure we would commence it in the beginning of the Q1 FY24, and our other facility, the drug substance facility, the bulk antigen manufacturing facility has already commenced, and once the fill finish facility is ready, we would have our poultry vaccine capacity increased to double than what it is at this point of time. Talking about the pet care division, I would let Priya talk a little bit on the pet care division. Over to you, Priya.
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned earlier, the pet division is our the newest division, which started the front-end operations in Q2 this year. It is gaining traction now. However, for the time being, we've merged it with the animal healthcare, as you can see. We launched 10 products in the last 2 quarters, which show good results in the field so far. And we'll be launching another 3 products in the therapeutics category, keeping the seasonal demand in mind in this quarter, which is quarter 4. We're going to be increasing our field force substantially to twice as what it is right now. And also in terms of territories, we will be catering to territories which is twice as what it is right now, to gain further penetration. We are currently focusing on healthcare products which have good demand, and will then also look at biologicals and diagnostics in the long-term plan. For the time being, our focus continues to be on good quality products, maintaining a healthy bottom line, and hiring good people who are front-facing as well as technical people to manage the back-end operations. So this is where the pet division is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Priya. A little update on the COVID-19 vaccine plant, which would be now going on stream, in the sense that we, as you are aware, with the help of the Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC under the COVID Suraksha program, and in collaboration with Gujarat Biotechnology Research Center, we have constructed a BSL-3 laboratory to produce the drug substance, that is the bulk antigen for Covaxin for Bharat Biotech, and supply the bulk antigen to them for their production for the Covaxin vaccine. As we all are aware, at this point of time, COVID more or less has been on a absolutely reducing trend. Therefore, in a way, good as far as mankind is concerned, we have left COVID behind. Now we have the facility with us. It's a BSL-3 laboratory. We are looking at various options on what to do in this facility. We have some ideas, maybe human vaccine, veterinary vaccine. So there are thoughts that are in our mind. Once there is full clarity on way ahead that we would not be manufacturing Covaxin drug substance, we would embark on immediately another alternate product line. While it does sound a little strange that we have a 100 crore investment project and we are not yet sure on the project, but the fact remains that this was created to make Covaxin, and Covaxin has gone, thank God for that. But now that the facility is created, we will use this facility to produce other vaccines. We as a company do not see this as a concern, except of course as now we need to finalize on what we would do it. And I think in the next 3 months' time, decisions would be taken on what would be done with this facility and how we would take it further. There are also thoughts and ideas that we would have another expansion, because this facility is ready to produce the drug substance, that is the bulk antigen, and for human vaccines we would need a fill finish line, so we could add a fill finish line. We are in talks with human vaccine companies who are, one, willing to buy the antigen, two, if we produce a finished vaccine, they are willing to take up the marketing or even give us a loan licensing agreement with us. And in fact, there are a few veterinary vaccines which can be, the bulk antigen can be produced here, and for the fill finish we do not need to construct anything because we already have a veterinary fill finish line. So these are a few options that we have, and we are working on the options, and we would take it further. Looking at our consolidated balance sheets, it's more or less in line with the standalone balance sheets. Our company, Texas Life Science, it has been doing very well, feeding Hester Biosciences with all the health products, which, as we mentioned, we are increasing the sales, we are increasing the profitability of Hester by the sales of those products. Then we have Hester Africa, wherein we have got a few licenses, and now we are trying to get the sales from there to various African countries. We have begun minor sales in the country of Tanzania. other countries need registration. So that is, the registration activity is ongoing over there. The third entity of relevance is Trishul Impex, wherein Hester has invested money. We have a 50% equity in Trishul Impex, and there the turnovers have been reasonably good, profitability has been reasonably good, and that's all added onto the consolidated balance sheet. In Nepal, we continue to work and try to push FAO to give us tenders. There are some tender businesses coming, and at the I think we have been in touch with FAO, and now they have also been talking that there would be a spurt in the tendering for the PPR vaccine for all over the world, and we hope that it happens fast and to take that project further. So this is an update on Hester India, our subsidiaries, as well as the financials of all the companies put together. Thank you for patiently hearing me out. Over to all of you for any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. We will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Manish Gupta from Solidarity. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Rajiv, my first question is, the decline in sales of poultry vaccines. One would have thought that poultry vaccines would at least have some correlation with consumption of poultry. Do you think that is there, or poultry vaccines have no correlation with consumption of poultry? Because typically as countries get richer, people tend to consume more meat. So do you see this phenomena in India or no?
Technically, everything has to be in proportion and correlated. More the poultry grows, the more the vaccines, etc., etc. Yes, there has to be a correlation, but at this point of time, in a way, there is a correlation in any case, because today the poultry industry is not doing so well, and as the reason is not that people are not eating meat or people are not eating eggs. They are not able to produce and make money by selling eggs or meat. So it is not the question of consumption. It is the question of the high input cost and the inability of a poultry farmer to pass on those costs onto the consumers for their final product. So this is the issue.
But sir, does that mean that the same number of eggs, for example, are being produced, but the usage of vaccine to produce these eggs is declining?
No, the eggs produced are less, therefore the vaccines used are also less.
So that would mean, sir, that the consumption of eggs and poultry in the country would also be declining?
Yes.
Okay. My second question, sir, was, did I understand you right that the sale of goatpox vaccines, the animal would need to be vaccinated every year?
Yes.
And is this true?
I would say, one correction. Immunity lasts for 10 to 12 months. The individual, the farmer would not want to vaccinate, that is a decision based on the farmer. Ideally, they should.
And sir, is this also true with PPR?
Sorry?
Is this 10 to 12 months immunity that you mentioned also the same
Yes.
for lumpy skin disease and PPR?
Yes.
So technically, those numbers we achieve should at least be that annual figure.
Theoretically, yes. Practically, it really doesn't happen, because what happens is that the animal rearing people in the country, leave aside the poultry, which is a little more organized, it's all a fragmented business. So what happens is that they sometimes use the vaccine because the government is giving them free, or because of a knee-jerk reaction in an outbreak, etc. So people tend to forget during the days when there is no disease, and they tend to forget the usage or the administration of that disease. Now, it's not necessarily that by not giving the vaccine the disease will come, but the chances shoot up very high, and then fortunately disease might not come, unfortunately it might come. Theoretically, yes, this what we have supplied in the last 3-4 months should be the ideal sale of a year.
Right, sir. My next question is, sir, that would that be fair in assuming that a large part of our revenue on the animal side would really be dependent on what allocations the central government of India does towards these immunization programs?
Your voice was not clear, but I presume you said that we are dependent upon the government of India for its tenders?
Yes, I wanted to understand, is that going to continue?
The vaccine business, yes. The health product business, no.
Okay. Next question, sir, is that have we looked at Indonesia as a market for poultry vaccines?
We have not looked at Indonesia. We are supplying to Vietnam, Cambodia, in the Southeast Asian markets over there. We did make an attempt to do something with Indonesia. Unfortunately, we could not take it further. The option remains, or rather we would still want to look at that opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Manish Jain from Gormal One LLP. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to know what factors drove the positive growth in the poultry healthcare products, because vaccines declined by 28%, whereas the overall decline in the poultry business was only 22%.
Yeah. So first, let me talk about what led to the higher growth on the health product. What has happened is that the market share in poultry vaccines is reasonably high, and our market share in health product is reasonably low. So getting traction in for a product where our market share is very low, that becomes much more easier and doable even in even at a time when the overall market is not growing. While in vaccines we could not manage that. The growth of you are saying that the degrowth was 22 while our sale grew down by 28. Now, I would not really have the exact figures because it would not actually move on a mathematical basis, but a little bit of a plus or minus. Some customers using our vaccines, they would have changed their vaccination schedule, decided not to use, while the smaller poultry farmers would have used. So I am not exactly able to pinpoint directly as to what would have been the difference between the industry degrowth and our degrowth as far as vaccines is concerned.
Perfect. And in Nepal, we have developed the live Lasma's Newcastle disease vaccine. What's the advantage that Is there any significant advantage this vaccine gives you over existing Newcastle disease vaccine?
The vaccine that we are producing there, what we have done is now all the smaller dose vaccines being produced in India, we are shifting them to Nepal so that the Nepal plant gets that business, and here anyway our large animal, the animal healthcare division business is growing in terms of vaccines. So whatever most of the vaccines produced in Nepal are being exported to the African continent from there rather than it being exported from here. So it's just a transfer of business and more, rationalizing the capacities that we have everywhere. The same vaccine, the same quality, the same price, the same customer, the same label.
Excellent. Moving on to the dairy Brucella vaccine, the way you have taken an outstanding decision to promote lumpy vaccine on a private trade basis, would you plan to do that something similar for Brucella as well, not depending on tenders, but
this is my personal take, and I have been pushing this, and I've been talking to all the manufacturers and all. In a free economy as what we are in India, companies should actually invest in promoting all these vaccines in the trade by themselves and try to generate business rather than being dependent on tender business. And it is my endeavor to make sure that all vaccines that even which are under tender, we will want to push them hard in the private sector through the distribution. In fact, in one or two states in the lumpy skin, that is a goat pox vaccine, our sales in trade was higher than what was bought through the government channel.
Beautiful. And one question
Sorry
for
to interrupt,
Nikhil.
sir.
Yeah.
So if you do have further questions, we request you to kindly rejoin the queue. We have
Okay, we'll rejoin the queue.
Line.
Yeah.
The next question is from the line of Keshav Garg from Counter Cyclical PMS. Please go ahead.
I'm trying to understand that, sir, have our results bottomed out in the second quarter, and we can see at least in the large animal health sector.
Your voice is unclear. We are not able to hear you. It's coming in bits and pieces.
Sir, I hope it is clear now.
Yes, it is.
Sir, I am trying to understand whether our results have bottomed out in the second quarter, and in the third quarter we can clearly see some recovery at least in the large animal health product segment. So firstly, is this a one-off, or is this run rate of 38 crore in large animal products expected to continue in the fourth quarter and also the next year? And also the poultry vaccine segment, sir, what are you hearing from the government that when can this segment really recover?
I think the poultry, I've been always telling that it will recover, but it can't go beyond a point, because at the end of the day, an industry has to sustain itself. Water finds its own level, and I'm sure the poultry industry would turn around sooner than later. So I really don't think that, this can't go on and on. Looking on to, and your earlier question was that, is this growth sustainable or not sustainable? That was your question, right, of this quarter? Yeah, okay. To answer that question is that we had a good stint with the goat pox vaccine. Now we have the goat pox vaccine is going to continue. We have the lumpy skin disease, the PPR tender also now, which we are going to start, which we have already started the supplies. And the poultry industry, things will turn around for sure. And with the introduction of the avian influenza vaccine, we should be able to keep this the trend on, and it is our endeavor that this trend continues and it even goes higher than that. That is what is definitely our endeavor.
Sir, and also you mentioned that the poultry industry is not in the best of health in terms of profitability, sir. But recently, in this year 2023, sir, we have seen that egg prices in domestic market have reached all-time high levels, and also exports of especially egg products are booming to all-time high levels. Sir, so does that help us going forward? I mean, since egg prices are at all-time high, and obviously the farmers would be making a lot of money. So would that help us?
So, the egg prices being all-time high, one of the reasons is that there is a shrinkage in the production of egg and or meat, and whatever eggs or meat are available, they are being sold at a higher price because there is no proper intersection of demand and supply. So therefore that could be the thing. And in terms of exports, there have been egg powder, etc. The exports have improved, and there would be certain contracts, etc. Going over there. But if you look at overall the whole economy as such, there is still a lot to happen in the poultry industry to stabilize that industry. And see, whenever you supply lesser quantity at a higher price, it does not mean that there is a boom in the industry. That's all that I'm trying to say.
Sure, sir. Sir, thank you very much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kuntal Shah from Oaklane Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Rajesh. My question is regarding the Hester Nepal. Can you just briefly outline the funding status and the order status of the tenders being rolled out for PPR? And second question is for India. The NADCP program was very ambitious in terms of 50 crore animal livestock to be vaccinated by 2025, covering range of diseases. What do we stand on the rollout orders and the funding of the same too?
So first, let me address the rollout. As far as we are concerned, we are linked and synced with the government for the goatpox vaccine against LSD and the PPR vaccine at the moment. So in both these cases, we are in PPR will be supplying 100% of the requirement, and goatpox vaccine we have supplied to 95% of the government's requirement. So that is where we are at this point of time. Now coming on to Nepal, I think Nikhil,
in case of Nepal, the total borrowings, the bank borrowings has been 7 crore rupees on 31st December, which primarily is a combination of both the working capital and few portion of the long-term debt, which is to be paid in next 7 months, in next 1 year.
Sorry, I was referring to the funding status by the agency doing the eradication program. What is the reason for delays in tender?
You are talking about the PPR vaccine eradication program funding.
Yeah, that's because ultimately that's where we are going to get orders from, right?
So, your voice is cutting, but let me answer you, is that FAO is trying hard to get the funding for the PPR. In fact, they are even now releasing tenders even for some other vaccines also, like CCPP, CBPP, LSD, etc., in smaller quantities. But as soon as they get funding, they are trying to do it. There is going to be a major conference on all PPR manufacturers worldwide organized by FAO in the month of March. So that is the time when they are going to be discussing on the funds availability that they have and how they would want to roll out the eradication program. At the moment, yes, they are trying to gather the funding, and probably they are working towards consolidating on their funding plan. Now, this depends upon, this is just not in our hands. We are dependent on FAO, United Nations for these things. So we will take it as it comes. And in order to make sure that our plant does not go into any, a loss of business, etc., as I mentioned in my in a earlier question, we have moved all small size vaccine, poultry vaccine manufacturing to Nepal from where we are exporting, and here we are using the our capacities to supply to the local this government tenders, etc. So to answer again your question, we are dependent on FAO. FAO is working hard towards it. This has to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and what about the government?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. If you have more questions, we request you to please rejoin the queue, sir.
It's the same question which I'm asking the clarification for.
What is the question? Tell me.
The local program, the brucellosis and all. What is the funding status and order status? What do you think is a roadmap likely for a year or two under the
under the Government of India National Eradication or Immunization Program, it is going on absolutely well, and the government, whatever they have committed, the funds are being allotted, supplies are being made, and that is how we were able to do such a big immunization program for lumpy skin disease in 3 to 4 months' time. And also PPR, they have given us a complete schedule for supplies to be done till March 2024, and we have reasons to believe that the funds for that would come as they have come in lumpy skin disease. There is a credit period. We will get it in this month because many supplies were made last month, but it is going on track. The Indian immunization programs for animals is going on track.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mithun Aswath from Kiva Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. My question was more on the African business. I just wanted to understand, you had mentioned last time because of the recessionary environment and inflation, there was not a uptick in that business from the Tanzanian plant. Just wanted to understand what is the roadmap for that plant, because you had invested quite a lot of money. So just want to understand how the utilization of that plant would move over the next year or so.
We would continue to make vaccines first for Tanzania and then for the African continent. There are totally ways in which we expect to get business in Africa from each country. One is FAO tenders, second is the country tenders, and third is through the trade business in each of the countries. What we have done at this point of time, we are trying to create the network so that the third channel, that is through the trade, we are able to place our vaccines and try to grow the business. This is there are a lot of hurdles to it because the African economies today, there is no money, or there is lack of finances, plus the demand creation has not happened in the past. But on the other side, we look that as a very big opportunity because we are the first to do it, and so we are trying to create demand through the trade business in a few African countries at the moment, and at the same time we are working with FAO as well as with each of the countries if at all the tenders come. We are very sure the continent is big, the requirement is big, everything has to fall in place and it has to happen. And it is an effort to be done in order to do that. We are here to put the effort, and I'm sure the results would come in, if not immediately, maybe a little later, but we are very confident on the path.
And what is the current level of revenues, sir, on an annual basis from this Tanzanian facility? And what actually could it deliver when things, go to an optimal capacity utilization?
Optimal capacity more than 20 million. At this point of time, our sales is less than 1 million.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our last question for today. I now hand the conference over to the management for the closing comments.
Thank you all. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. and it is our endeavor, myself, our whole team, to work towards the betterment for the company, to make sure that our company is valued at at a very nice level. When I say value, I just don't mean in terms of share price or a quantified thing. Qualitatively also, we believe in a value system, and that value system needs to reflect in our functioning, in whatever we do, in our actions. So that is what our endeavor is. It shall continue to be the same. Thank you all for giving time for this call. Hope to again meet you all in the next quarter's investors call. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities Limited, that concludes the conference call. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
You may now disconnect your lines.
Thank you.